All right, here we go. Taz Taylor, this is your time to shine. This is your weekly review of where the teams stand, and this is a team effort, not a single car effort. So we'll make sure that you guys know that. And start wherever you want to, Taz, and we'll chime in here as we've got about 15 more minutes before we have to check out of the air.
All right. When I said a lot of moves a couple minutes ago for this week's rankings, there were a lot. Every team but one moved either up or down somewhere in these rankings. And we're going to start with our basement five, our bottom five teams. As you see there, we're going to go with number 15, Haas Factory team. Last week they were ranked 13th. They moved down to this week. Number 14, we got RCR. Again, just like Haas Factory, they moved down to from number 12 last week. Rick Ware Racing at number 13. They went down 3 spots from the 10th spot. The only team moving up out of the basement 5 is Joe Gibbs Racing. They went from the bottom of the barrel in the basement at number 15. They are now number 12. And number 11, we got Wood Brothers. They went down 6 spots from number 5 last week. Before we get to the next 5,
yeah, let's comment on these first 5
What are your guys' thoughts, surprises of the basement 5, starting with you, Mr. CJ Sports?
Other than I don't know if I'd have Joe Gibbs Racing down in the basement 5. I'd probably have more of the 6 through 10, especially with Briscoe second. And I think Ty Gibbs is really your weakest link over there right now. I agree with all the rest of it. None of this really surprises me. Maybe RCR being a rowdy friend, there you go, a rowdy fan, and Austin Dillon not usually being the worst of the worst. Just doesn't seem like those two are having any luck and just really getting caught up in a lot of stuff. I'm not disagreeing with it being there. I'm just kind of surprised they're down there. I would have expected them to be higher, but I agree with 4 out of the 5 in the basement 5.
All right, with Haas Factory team, somebody has to be last, and right now the rebrand isn't showing up on the scorecard. Great, prove us wrong candidate going into week 3. We'll see how they do at COTA. RCR, quietly one of the more disappointing names on the board. You expect more presence from them at a place like Atlanta. Instead, they're drifting toward the forgettable zone. Rick Ware, down 3, falling back to earth a bit. Week 1 pop was fun, but week 2 reminded everyone how hard it is to consistently outrun the budget. Still, them not being 15 is progress. Gibbs, this feels like the first step in probably an inevitable climb. Too much money, too much debt for them to hang at the bottom, but they're just not out of the doghouse quite yet. Over at the Wood Brothers, I think they're rough tumble, and it hurts because the name is so big. This is where you ask, was Daytona's fool's gold, or did Atlanta just not line up with their strengths? I think they're going to be hot in certain places and not in other places. So they kind of feel like the 4th Penske team in where they're sitting right now. So I believe that is the first 11. Taz, how about the next group?
All right, next group. We have the Climbing 5, which is ranking 6 through 10 here. At number 10, we got Legacy Motor Club moving up 1 spot from number 11 last week. At number 9, we got Hayek Motorsports, who was number 1 on the charts last week. They moved down 8 spots. The only team to move down in this group of 5. Then at number 8, we have Trackhouse Racing moving up 6 spots from number 14. At number 7, we got Colleague Racing moving up 2 spots from number 9. And then Front Row Motorsports sitting at number 6, moving up 2 spots from number 8. We'll start with you, Chris.
Well, let's go to Legacy Motor Club. Small climb, but symbolically it's big. Them sitting solidly mid-pack instead of bottom 3 says the retooling is at least trending in the right direction. Over at Hayek, I think that was a great start to the season, but we kind of knew where Hayek is and what they are. This is a full market correction. Week 1, they were the darlings. Week 2, exposed some cracks. And Ricky had a good run there. I think he got wrecked. Perfect talking point did we overreact earlier? Is this just Atlanta being Atlanta? I think it's more of the, what we've got there with racing. Some people are, put in position. Other people are wrecked out of it. So I kind of see them kind of evening out somewhere in mid-pack. Trackhouse, keep your eye on height. They're liable to do some big things that, week in, week out, we'll just have to follow them. Trackhouse, massive jump, and it fits. Look at the quality race SVG had. He was caught up in like 3 incidents and still bounced back. I think he had a top 10 finish. Massive jump, and it fits.
Finish to date.
Yeah, it fits, man. Atlanta clearly looked more like Trackhouse we expected in the preseason. Aggressive, racy, and relevant to the front instead of stuck in the mushy middle. Colleague, I'm going to keep my eye on Colleague. I'm not sure. I'm not sold yet. Ty Dillon, I've never been sold on. AJ Allmendinger, there's going to be tracks where he's going to be really good at. I just don't see the competitive side. They're not getting any Chevrolet notes, so Colleague could find themselves near the bottom as the season progresses. We'll have to really keep our eye on them. But Colleague creeping into the top 7 feels like the garage quietly going, yeah, this is real. If they keep stringing it together, competent, mistake-free weeks, that they're going to live in this range. If not, we're going to see them fall to the bottom really quick. Front row went through a horrible offseason, caught up in the lawsuit. But in the end, they won. It feels like the victory for the whole year. I know Michael McDowell sits on that Daytona 500 trophy there in the garage of Front Row Motorsports, but winning in that lawsuit has got to be the biggest victory ever at Front Row Motorsports. Front Row staying this high after week 2 is a statement. They're no longer just Daytona Talladega merchants. They're hanging around the big boys on intermediate style stuff too. So we definitely see a growth. Zane Smith, man, I'm telling you, Zane Smith reminds me of a talented driver like Eric Jones, who, given the right opportunity, could really be a shiner in this sport. Taz Taylor, let's go to the next group. Oh, is it?
No, Mr. CJ.
It's Mr. CJ Sports. I'm sorry.
I like everything that I've seen on there. This is where I talked about the basement 5. I would have had Joe Gibbs racing up. I probably would have had him in the 9th spot and Hayek down in their spot. Outside of that, I like everything that I've seen ranking-wise and informational-wise with Chris. So I'm liking everything else.
All right, we go to our top 5. I think I have to find something creative. Maybe the winning 5, but I don't want to say winning just yet when we're only 2 weeks into the season.
The big dog era. This is the big dog era.
But our top 5,
Big 5.
we got Hendrick Motorsports sitting at number 5, moving up 2 spots from number 7. At number 4, we got Team Penske, up 2 spots from number 6. And our one and only team that did not move up nor down is RFK Racing. They stay at number 3 this week. Number 2 on the charts is Spire Motorsports, moving up 2 spots from previously ranked number 4. And then our new number 1 team, we're 2 for 2 on number 1s this year, is 2311 Racing, moving up 1 spot, going from the bridesmaid and now the bride after 2 weeks. So thoughts, opinions, Mr. CJ, we'll start with you before we get down to Chris.
The only thing that sticks out to me, I'd probably like to see 3 and 4 switched. I think I like Penske a little bit stronger in the pulling than I do RFK. But outside of that, I like everything in there. So go ahead, Chris. Got what you got.
Yeah, so, I mean, you just look at that and you see Spire at number 2, and you just have to kind of rub your head like what's really going on here. Spire's going to wind up being somewhere in the mid there, but it's good to see for right now the top 2 guys where they are. That's a statement being said, but let's start at Hendrick. This is an inevitable move. You can only keep Hendrick down for so long. If Atlanta Speed matched the name on the door, this bump is absolutely earned being up 2. Penske, classic Penske, right? Maybe not the loudest story, but they're methodically climbing. Atlanta feels like a correction back toward where you would normally expect them in the pecking order. RFK, we were the first to point out several years ago that RFK was moving in the right direction. We said it was a 2-car team and that gave them a competitive advantage. Well, here we are with 3 cars, and Brad Keselowski with a terrible incident and a broke leg, and he's basically been the captain of RFK in the last couple of weeks. Go ahead, Taz.
If you remember, Chris, when we were talking about that a couple of years ago,
Right.
how we were talking about RFK Racing being a two-car team, and we also remember we thought for the longest time they were going to stay that way because of charters being sold and bought, right?
Right.
Remember back when the All-Star race that Joey Logano led every single lap of? We got much more to come later on, and if you remember that episode.
I love that episode.
But we remember Brad Keselowski in the pre-race interview of the All-Star race that year. They were not interested in getting a third car, and
right.
Boom, here we are. They have a third car, and it's just as competitive as the other two.
And I'll be honest with you, they're going to be in trouble because there's not enough charters to go around. Somebody's going to lose a team next year, and I'm just not sure who it's going to be. There's just not enough charters, and I believe that next year Legacy Motor Club will actually have the charter that the 60 machine of Ryan Preece is racing with this year. That's going to put RFK in a really tough position on getting and finding that third charter. They are probably worth more now than ever before. So let's talk about.
I think Rick Ware's on the cusp of that because I think you have to finish so high in the owner's standings in like a 5-year span or something like that.
Well, supposedly
unless that got changed in the newest charter agreement.
Right. Supposedly Rick Ware sold out to former owners of Spire, but I don't know how all that went about. We'll have to check up on that. Holding at 3 actually feels right for RFK. Nothing in Atlanta screamed panic, but also it didn't scream new number 1. They're still firmly in that every week threat group. We'll have to keep our eye on what Brad Keselowski does this weekend. I know he's got Joey Hand on hand to hopefully step in the car if need be. And let me tell you something, Joey Hand knows how to get around on road courses. Spire up to, wow, look at here. Is all this money that's being dumped into this organization finally paying off? Well, for this week, they're there. There's no longer a cute underdog story. Back-to-back weeks in the conversation means Spire's floor has come way up. They're racing like a legit playoff caliber operation, not a spoiler. And at number 1 is 2311. Yes, Air Jordan. Atlanta just cemented them as the current standard. Week 1 was they arrived. Week 2 is they're staying with speed, execution, organizational depth, all looking elite.
And there you have it for